You've seen it in movies, you've heard it in school. But what if I told you some of the biggest facts you know about ancient history are completely wrong? This is History Got It Wrong, the series where we bust the myths and reveal the real stories behind the legends. In this episode, we'll tackle 4 massive ancient history myths. And by the end, you'll never see the past the same way again. Oh, and stick around, there's a bonus myth you won't want to miss. If you're ready to rethink what you thought you knew, let's dive in. And don't forget, hit like and subscribe for new episodes every Wednesday. Ready for the first myth? Let's dive in. The image is iconic. Thousands of exhausted slaves dragging giant stones through the desert to build the Great Pyramids of Giza. But is it true? In reality, modern archaeology paints a very different picture. Workers' villages found near the pyramids show they were skilled craftsmen, well-fed and respected for their work. There's evidence of medical care and beer rations. These were not starving slaves. They were proud Egyptian builders working on monuments for their pharaohs. So, where did the slave-built pyramids myth come from? Hollywood, and ancient Greek historians with a flair for exaggeration. On to our next myth. This one might surprise you. You've probably heard this one, that before Columbus sailed, everyone thought the earth was flat. But wrong again, since at least ancient Greece educated people knew the earth was round. In fact, Eratosthenes, over 2,000 years ago, calculated Earth's circumference with impressive accuracy. Medieval scholars, navigators, and even the church taught that Earth was a sphere, the flat Earth myth. It was popularized in the 1800s by writers trying to make earlier eras seem ignorant. Now, let's uncover another famous misconception from history. The tragic image, the Great Library of Alexandria, a treasure trove of ancient knowledge, burned in a single catastrophic fire. But the truth, much more complex. Historians believe the library declined gradually through centuries of neglect, political shifts, and several smaller fires. There wasn't one dramatic night when all of human knowledge went up in smoke, and many scrolls had already been copied and preserved in other centers of learning. The story of one epic fire, another myth built for dramatic effect. Before we wrap up, let's tackle one more legendary myth, this time from ancient Sparta. When you think of Spartans, you probably picture impossibly strong warriors, shields locked, fighting to the very last man. That's thanks in no small part to movies and pop culture. But was Sparta really a society of invincible fighters who never surrendered? The truth is, while Spartans were indeed renowned for their military training and discipline, they weren't superhuman. Spartan society was actually far more complex. Their famous never surrender mentality was more of an ideal than a reality. In fact, historical records show that Spartans often made calculated retreats and avoided unnecessary last stands, choosing survival and strategy over total annihilation. And here's something else Hollywood often leaves out. Not every Spartan man was a warrior. The backbone of Spartan society was the Helots, an oppressed population forced to farm and serve, freeing up the Spartan elite to focus on military life. Without the Helots, the iconic Spartan warrior culture could never have existed. So, while the legend of the unstoppable Spartan army makes for great storytelling, the real Sparta was built on tactics, societal structure, and, yes, the labor of others. The myth of the superhuman, never-surrendering Spartan, that's just another example of history getting a little too dramatic. Now let's recap what we've learned. So, pyramids not built by slaves. Medieval people knew the earth was round. The Library of Alexandria didn't vanish in a single blaze. And Spartans, they weren't superhuman warriors who fought to the last man. But here's the thing. History is full of myths just like these. Want a bonus one? The Colosseum in Rome wasn't destroyed by gladiator fight, but by something much more unexpected. And we'll get to that in another episode. Don't forget, subscribe for more History Got It Wrong every Wednesday, and hit like if you learned something new today.